Yes, everyone, welcome along. Good evening. This is Forever United TV. I'm Adam. If you didn't already know, we talk about everything Manchester United on this channel. We get the live chat involved and we have a good old football debate with our sensible heads on. We lose our rags sometimes, but we are honest and we are to the point. And that is what this channel is all about. And that's where I'm starting tonight. And I'm so glad that there has been a little bit more context and a little bit more information come out on the Bryan Mbeumo and the truth behind the delay. Going to get into detail on that, but tonight is jam-packed, so I'm going to run through it as quickly and as efficiently and getting your input as quick as I can through the show. So that's Bryan Mbeumo. Then we've got Jadon Sancho. Then we've got Martinez's updates as well, like we have been doing all day. That one just keeps changing all of the time, but changing for the good. If you're an Martinez fan, that is. Anyway, you might have already watched a video earlier on today where a lot of the information was given. Updates on that as well. Rashford situation and Garnacho also. 50 million for Antony. Thank you, Manchester United, for actually standing your bleeding ground and actually getting the right value for some of your players. Like Antony, out of all of the duck eggs, the main 5 nightmares that we've been talking about now for the last few weeks, that being, you know who they are. I'm not even going to get into the names. I don't need to waste my time. But Antony's the one player that could probably hold his head up high and actually carry a little bit of value. And you know what? It looks like, and I'll get into the detail, I'll get your thoughts on this as well, that United have told Betis where to go. So happy that has happened, to be honest. And I'll go through all of the clubs that have registered an interest and what this report has said in terms of when Antony came back to United, what he was told, and why we're getting this news now. So this is the first time that Antony has actually spoke face-to-face with United since the Betis transfer loan and then all of this story. Like, we found out, like, he was over in Brazil, wasn't he? So we found out now what's actually happening with him. So we'll get into that soon as well and get the details behind it. I want to get all of your comments in on this. So everybody, get into the chat and let me know what you think on everything. Let's start with Bryan Mbeumo, the truth behind the situation at Manchester United. I'm going to get straight into this and just go right in because it started earlier on today. Now, Alex Crook was talking on Talk Sports. He was opening up on everything that happened with Bryan Mbeumo, where we're actually at, the situation with him as well. He's having to defend himself because he was one of the people that said about 3 weeks ago, the source from Brentford that everybody's talking about, that came out and said there was an expected medical to be booked at Manchester United. Everyone ran with the report. We talked about it a lot, and now everyone who did run with that report is getting absolute dog's abuse online for it. But this is what Alex said before, and I'm going to back this up with what Jamie Jackson has also said in The Guardian on top of this. But first of all, Alex Crook says Manchester United remain in talks with Bryan Mbeumo, but will not be panicked into paying over the odds. 3 weeks ago, United believed they were close to reaching an agreement for Mbeumo, with Brentford sources even suggesting a medical was expected to take place. However, the two Premier League clubs are still haggling over the amount of money to be paid up front. That was Alex Crook, and he is taking the abuse, as you'd expect someone to do, on social media when they come out with a big claim like they have. No word from Ben Jacobs yet on this one, although he has just put his tuppence in an interview with Romano. I'm not sure if you've seen that today. So he stayed quiet, and obviously I had not mentioned the abuse that he should also be getting if other journalists are going to get it as well. Alex Crook did allude to what David Ornstein said without mentioning David Ornstein as well. When Ornstein said that it was several millions apart on this one. Not the case, apparently, from what he's been told. Who's got the better sauce? That's all we're talking right now. Do you like the HP or do you like the ketchup? Some people might like mayo. Depends what sauce you like, basically. Stupid, really corny joke from me there, but just trying to lighten the mood because everyone's feeling a little bit down going off what I've seen and the reaction I've had from social media right now. I don't post anything on X right now. My God, people are in meltdown mode. Anyway, on to Jamie Jackson. This is the more important one, I feel, out of everything that's happening right now with Bryan Mbeumo. And thank you, Jamie Jackson. I did message him earlier on. I know Jamie. I know him well from times I've spent in the press box at Manchester United. Standout guy. Absolutely brilliant guy. Honestly, you will never meet a nicer man in the media world than Jamie Jackson anyway. And I messaged him before after the article that everyone's been quoting online. And he said to me, yep, that's it. I've not made it up. This is what he said. At the end of June, Sir Jim Radcliffe and Jason Wilcox believed a £65 million package would land Bryan Mbeumo. Brentford change of stance has been met with resistance by Manchester United, who do not wish to be held to ransom and are determined to be patient. So that's Alex Crook who said United are going to be patient. That's Jamie Jackson who said they're going to be patient. There is everybody who was reporting this earlier 3 weeks ago, so-called medical, and this being nearly done, saying exactly the same thing now. But Jamie Jackson's point there, the change in stance. Brentford asked for more. Brentford changed everything mid-negotiation when this deal was nearly done, and that's when the report came out from the Brentford source. And anyone in the media world have checked through everything, and this is off the back of what Laurie Whitwell also said. Now, Ornstein has said from his information, and let's look at this. When we go back to what Ornstein said the other morning, I too was having a bit of a meltdown because I'm fed up. I'm a United fan. I want news. I want Man United to have business done. I've always been, and I'll react in certain ways, and I probably overreacted maybe a little bit in that one. It just sounded to me like it was doom and gloom at that point. But then obviously has to have sat back again, and I've not got my hot head on as I sometimes get because I'm a frustrated United fan, of course. You listen to what Ornstein said. So before Ornstein spoke, Laurie Whitwell was talking about this deal and something changing behind the scenes. Something else has happened. He didn't say as much or go into his detail now as like what Alex Crook has or Jamie Jackson has of The Guardian, but he was alluding to something not changing, something not being the same within the Brentford side of things, and something's happened along that 70 million price tag. Now then, we had the Ornstein bombshell, which came the other morning when we spoke about this live, and he said, from what I know right now, and that's the key word there right now, is that Manchester United and Brentford are still several millions apart because Brentford changed their stance and changed the price. There was a deal that was pretty much set in stone and done where everyone was confident, and then Brentford decided, by the sounds of it, from what these reports are saying, to change the actual price and go up and demand more from Manchester United. United have just said, F you. We're not paying it, hence why United have not budged. There's probably not even been communication between the two clubs. Like Ornstein alluded to as well, nothing has broken through in the last couple of weeks. So everyone talking about Manchester United and Brentford continuously going back and forth and trying to get to the bottom of this. I don't think that that's true. Just looking at this and what's being said now, and I cannot wait for the truth to come out on this. I really do hope that this is the case as well, because it does give you a little bit of context, and everyone going in on Manchester United right now as to why we've not got this deal done, why we're haggling, and why is it taking so long. Obviously, nothing is going to be given away within the process of this the process of the negotiations between Brentford and United over Mbeumo. This is going to be kept in-house, and we're not going to know. And it's being in the dark and not knowing which stresses you out more than anything in life, isn't it? When there's a situation developing and you don't know you don't know what's actually happening or where it's come from or why it's happened to that matter, you start to get a little bit agitated, confused and anxious probably. And this is where the United fan base is at the moment. I'm sure when this all comes to light and when everything's done and everything's out in the open, we'll have an explanation as to why this transfer has dragged on longer than any that I can bleeding remember in a transfer window. And we will know for certain that it wasn't just Manchester United haggling. Like, I think Manchester United's value of Bryan Mbeumo is very fair. He's a £65 million player. That is very good money for a player that has had a shine-through season last season. Been good previous seasons, but like we said before, going to Manchester United is a different dynamic. You cannot transfer what he's done at Brentford into a different environment at Manchester United. It doesn't work like that. Football doesn't work like he's done great in a small club, done fantastic, and he's worth this much. It's going to Manchester United. It's not like that. He's completely different. Something will happen, a deal will be met, and there will be somewhere in the middle. United, though, are not buckling at all with Bryan Mbeumo. That's the stance that the club is taking. I've said all along, I'm happy with this to drag out, but as you can see at the bottom of your screen there, it has been said, and Bryan Mbeumo apparently has been told now, and this has just come out, this has come from Graham Bailey earlier on, actually in the last hour, in fact. He has now said, just to finish up the Bryan Mbeumo section here right now on the show, he has said that Manchester United are telling Bryan Mbeumo they still fully expect him to be on their pre-season tour and that they are confident that they will reach an agreement with Brentford. Graham Bailey. Fabrizio Romano came out earlier on and said that that is the goal, to get him on the tour and get the deal done. And both clubs are working to get that finished and finalised so he can be on the tour. Then you've got Ben Jacobs. Then you've got the likes of Lloyd Whitwell to try and get him on tour, get him with the squad, get him integrating in with this. Jamie Jackson, Simon Stone, Samuel Luckhurst, everyone I know that ever covers Manchester United or has got any kind of connection to this football club is saying exactly the same thing. So if we're going off that, this is going to be one hell of a next 4 or 5 days for Manchester United, for United fans, because Bryan Mbeumo is going to be done and dusted apparently going off this. I still don't see it. I don't believe in it because this is not the Manchester United of old. And notice how these journalists this summer, of all summers, are a little bit short on news. And they're not getting the same leaks that they used to get. They're not getting the same information. For the Athletic to be dumbfounded, for Romano to not know what's going on and keep batting off fans, for Ben Jacobs, Alex Crook and a few others to be completely embarrassed by this deal not happening when they said the medical was 2 weeks ago. There is definitely a different approach from Manchester United here, and there's a lot more being kept in-house. And as good as that is, it still stresses the fans out, and that's the situation and where we're at right now. I do thank Jamie Jackson for messaging me back as well. I know he does watch the show sometimes as well. And his piece today pretty much laid out for me where United are actually at right now. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what Jamie has said there. And I'm sure we could have all, if we thought about it and looked at everything that's been said, come to the same conclusion. But now for this to come out, and everyone who was sort of hit hard by coming out and saying what they did about the medical being nearly there, everyone coming out and defending themselves, kind of like they've tried to find out every bit of information that they possibly can to try and not make the same mistake again, is how I see it. And this is where we're getting stories now that something definitely happened within the middle of these negotiations, and United have not fallen into the trap. They're not going to pay over the odds, and it can go as long as the window continues, and it will go all the way up to the 1st of September if United don't get their price. They may compromise a bit, but they are not going to go all the way in. Brentford's bid for Omari for Hutchinson has been rejected as well. So that's obviously in the air right now. It's showing willing that they are looking to move on, although some people have said that he isn't a replacement, a direct replacement for Bryan Mbeumo. Look, we'll believe what we believe at the end of the day. And I just look at the whole Brentford approach to this. I think there's to and fro in here, and I think there's a few people not telling the whole story and what's actually happening. But they're fighting their corner. And in all of this, like, Brentford, they've approached it how they think is best fit for their club, and Manchester United are doing the same. Locked horns, nothing's happening. It's a standoff right now, and it will be who bluffs, who blinks first, who goes for it. Let's get some comments in on this now. That was the Bryan Mbeumo section to kickstart the show, everybody. Thank you for all of your comments so far. Eduardo with a super chat to kick us off. Thank you, mate. Mbeumo, here we go. Martinez, here we go. I would love to hear them words. Love to hear them words, Eduardo. Keep saying things like that, mate. Encourage me. DV with another super chat says, hope Brentford get relegated so we can get him for free. Yeah, he's only going to be devalued if he stays. And that there is a point. Like, from what Samuel Luckhurst said earlier on, with new manager coming in, this actually affected the deal and delayed it. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. I don't think there's anything in it. Gifted membership there from London, as always. Absolute legend, mate. Thank you very much. Fawnster 11. If Brentford sold Mbeumo, Hutchinson can't be theirs. Yes, but again, they are looking to try and keep a bit of face here, I think, Brentford, in all of this. Stuart says, Adam, mate, Jacobs, Crooks are blaggers, end of. Look, they do have contacts. They do work alongside the likes of Romano, that in Ben Jacobs' case as well. So there's a lot of information passed across. Ben Jacobs does know quite a lot on the Saudi Pro League and stuff like that. In terms of Alex Crook, I think he has been kind of screwed over by this one. And he's committed to it because he works for TalkSport. And they have to make the headlines. So he's the one who's going to take that stick, I'm afraid. And that's part of the job. It just is. And look, I get loads of stick on here. And I'm just the one on YouTube with the YouTube channel. You can imagine what the journalists who start the stories and tell us the information abuse they're getting. Oh, God. Transfer season is a absolute whirlwind, isn't it? It really is. Thank you, everyone, for the super chats. One more there from Tushar says, we ain't selling Garnacho. No way anyone is buying him for over 40 million. Rashford also will only be loaned until it's lowered lowered his price. I think that's supposed to say. It says price at the bottom there to 25 million. I'm going to move on to both of them players in a moment, actually, but I do want to move into the Jadon Sancho scenario in a moment as well. Let's just get a few more comments quickly. I hope we get him because he really wants to join. Because he really wants to join, mate. So I hope we get him. But why is Brentford taking so long, mate? I really want him to join us. Brandon, yes, I think you're the same as everybody else. Once this deal is done, everyone will breathe a sigh of relief, and we can move forward with whatever deals we want to do next. Talking about what deals we want to do next. Jadon Sancho has got an out if the deal doesn't happen for Juventus. Now, we talked this morning, Alfredo Padula said that there's a full agreement with Jadon Sancho, with wages and the contract with Juventus. He's also said that they're now talking to United and there is a new offer of 15 million on the table. Most of us this morning were jumping at the opportunity to sell Jadon Sancho for 15 million and just get the swine out of the door. But there is another update this afternoon on Jadon Sancho, which is that he's got an out in the Turkish league. Now, he is fully aware that Turkish teams want him. But in his eyes, and this report came out today, he will turn to Turkey if he doesn't get his deal with Juventus. But alongside Juventus, before we get into the Turkey side of things, Inter Milan apparently, Ademola Lookman is their top target. Apparently, personal terms are agreed with that deal between Inter and Atalanta for Lookman. So that might happen yet. But if it doesn't, Inter will turn their attentions to Jadon Sancho. My God, why is this man so popular? Maybe because he's so cheap, because United are desperate to get rid of him. But going back across to the Turkish side and what I meant before by the out, if it doesn't happen in Italy, I expect Inter to go through with the Lookman deal. That's just been brought up to add a little bit of spice to the story from the journalist, I'm sure. But if Lookman signs for Inter, that's them out of it anyway, which I think is going to be the case. Sancho will go to Turkey, but get this. Jadon Sancho will only go to Turkey if the Turkish teams pay him 15 million euros a year. Okay. I mean, yeah, okay. Hang on a minute, actually. I've only heard the 50 million euros. Let me just work out what that is in pounds. Okay. So, let's see what we got. So, 13 million quid. Basically, is what it is. Yeah, right. I've just got it up on the screen there. Right. 13 million a year Jadon Sancho wants if he's going to go to the Turkish league. That's like an insult to the Turkish. If you want me to play there, then you've got to pay me this amount of money. Oh, you absolute... Oh, God. He angers me more than anybody, honestly, that man. The arrogance of the kid, honestly. 25, and you are about to play in as many years for... in as many years, 5 that is, you're about to play for your 5th football club in as many years, and you're 25, and you're demanding 30 million quid a year. You absolute... Oh, someone ping... Right, absolute... Live chat, tell me the word. That's Jadon Sancho. He thinks he's worth a certain amount of money just to go and play in the Turkish league. What an insult that is. So, finish that sentence. Jadon Sancho, you absolute... Beep. I've just seen an emoji put in there. Mercenary, clown. Clown's a word I've used consistently throughout with a lot of these Manchester United players. The boy is a joker, Wally, Melter, Plonker. I like it. There's one word that I've used quite a lot there. I'm not going to swear on the show tonight, but the word ends with end. And it's something that you ring as well at the start of the word. Eggplant, that's a new one. Tosser, we can say that. Joe B says censored in brackets. Yeah, I think that's where we're all at. But yeah, that was Jadon Sancho's situation at the moment. It does look, though, like in with everything that's been said, we don't like him. We want him gone. He's been a nightmare. It does look like there's a bit of movement now. I'm feeling quite confident with Jadon Sancho again at the moment. And this is my mind. It changes all of the time. I am allowed because I'm a fan. And obviously, I can go into one frame of mind and then into another in where I think things are. And at the moment, I'm in quite a good headspace with a super chat there tells everybody from Mr. Creed MC. That was the word I was thinking of, yes. Or what I wasn't thinking of, what someone else actually put in. But yeah, you got it. Anyway, in terms of Jadon Sancho, I'm in a quite comfortable place. I do feel like we're in a good space at the moment, and there is positive vibes around it. It's looking close to being done. But just that news there, and Turkey will go to Turkey, that gives me more confidence that he's read the signs from United. You're not wanted. U-turn. 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 That's what Jadon Sancho is being told every time he rolls into Manchester United. Don't get comfortable. You're on your bike. You're out of here anyway. Sancho, see you later. See you later. And you can break that down in, you know what I mean. See you later. Anyway, see you next Tuesday, actually, was the word I'm thinking of. Sorry, I got that completely freaking wrong there. Anyway, right, moving on quickly on Emi Martinez. We've done this a lot today, so I don't want to go on to the same things and go over the same story again, but the news on Emi Martinez is just as positive and is as strong as it was before with Manchester United at the moment. Manchester United are very close to signing Emi Martinez, and Alejandro Garnacho is getting closer to leaving and joining Aston Villa on loan. That's the latest. Martinez has agreed to join United. No concrete offer yet for Garnacho, but Villa are becoming more possible. Now, that's come out again this afternoon, after the video we did at lunchtime, in fact. But that's your update on Emi Martinez right now, and it does involve Garnacho. I was thinking about this before, and I wanted to get you all of your opinions on this. The Garnacho loan bit of this. Like, we know about Emi Martinez. Everyone's saying it's close from South America anyway. And still no cancellation of this at all, or no play down, or no absolute cut off from Romano or anyone significant. So let's just ride with it for the time being, and look at what's being said as a positive that Emi Martinez could actually be at Manchester United. But I was thinking about this, and I wanted to get your opinions on it. Emi Martinez to Manchester United, but Garnacho on loan the other way. Now, most people would say, I want Garnacho sold. He is the pure profit. He is the one that's going to fund this summer transfer window. And I'm with you on that. I would rather sell Garnacho now and get him out the door. But is there a world where we look at this and say, right, okay, Garnacho goes on loan. He's still got years left on his contract. There's no drama. He goes on loan as a sweetener. Villa drop Martinez in at the price that we're hearing, which is very cheap, around the £22 million mark. Now, I'm taking that. Like, £22 million for Martinez is a very good deal. And I think most United fans who were thinking 30, 40 million, no chance, no chance. If you bring that down to 22, even the people that weren't too keen on Emi Martinez are starting to go, all right, well, 22 million isn't that bad for an outstanding Premier League proven goalkeeper. Is there a world in this where Garnacho goes away to Villa? His wages are all covered, so no drama there. He's on cheap wages anyway. There'll be maybe a loan fee, a small loan fee or something like that. Maybe there's an obligation at the end of it if Villa do so well in Premier League or something like that. But still, even if Garnacho comes back, he's going to a club where he's going to play regularly. I think that's a given, isn't it, with Villa? I think we could all say that. To a different manager who probably use him in a different way. And obviously, he will actually probably get even more valuable. Well, he's at United. He's not gaining any value at all for us. And at the moment, he's probably the lowest that his value's ever been at United. If he goes on loan, maybe next summer, he becomes that 60 or 70 million pound player. I'm just throwing this out there. Like, I would rather sell him now, 50 million, get him gone. Put our sell-on clause in him, get it. But no one's got the money. No one's taking a chance on Man United players. I was always open to the fact that there's some of these players are going to have to go out on loan. And it's as simple as that. And Garnacho, I think, could be one of them. Because I don't think anyone's going to get anywhere near Manchester United's valuation of him. So I feel loan to Villa, he adds value. He does well at Villa. He plays consistently, gets into the World Cup squad maybe. He wants to stay in the Premier League. If United know now at this point that they're not going to get the money they want for him, maybe they play the long game again and get more money for him next summer. Because at the moment, he's off the back of a horrible season for Manchester United with the fallout and everything of the player with the club, and he's not really wanted by anyone because everyone's scared that he might do the same again. But if you put a no-risk situation on his head for Aston Villa, who will do what they did with Marcus Rashford, play him a lot more, play him into form, and show everybody in the world that he's actually valuable and worth something again, maybe he becomes that 60, 70 million pound player next season. Because he's not going to do it at United. That's the realistic look on this right now. And we know that that's a fact because Ruben's not going to play him. So, if United loaned him out, got a little bit of a loan fee, sweeten it up with Emi Martinez coming in on the cheap, work with Aston Villa on this one. Some people would say, can we not just go and get Ollie Watkins in this deal as well? And I get that. And do you know what? I probably would take Watkins over Emi Martinez if I had to choose between the two, because I do believe the striker situation is vital for Manchester United. But then again, just to see Emi Martinez in goal instead of Andre Onana next season is a massive, massive pull. And I do believe that, and this is why I tweeted out what I tweeted out earlier on today, in that the longer this window goes on, the more news that comes out, the more I'm thinking Manchester United are probably going to try and drag a striker in on loan at the end of the window, because I don't think there's any valuation. So I don't think there's any value in the market for Manchester United right now. There is, because we're seeing other clubs buy players like Liverpool, Arsenal, like Newcastle. Like, they're all buying players. And they're buying strikers of the top quality bracket. Chelsea also, and United are not. United are not in a position financially like they are. Now, United can push the boundaries, but are not willing to make that risk. Could we be thinking outside of the box here and just loaning Garnacho out and getting him out of the door? Wages covered, no longer at United, and his value going up. He's still only 20. If he turns 21 and has a great season for Villa, what's he worth then? Because then everybody in the world will see Garnacho actually at the right club, under the right manager, can work. That's all I'm thinking United could be thinking with this. I still think they want to sell him, and they're not keen on any loans. But if it means getting Martinez in, because we've loaned them Garnacho, and we probably take the hit on Garnacho for this summer, but maybe we recoup more next summer, are United willing to go there? Just something that I was thinking about. It's not happening for definite. Again, I will make that clear, but you get to thinking, don't you? Why have all of these stories on Martinez started to go bang, 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 and come out so quickly? All of a sudden, we thought this deal was dead. I thought it was dead. I actually remember talking on the live show saying you can forget about Martinez now. There's no way Manchester United buy Emi Martinez. And then, whoa, all of a sudden, 22 million? And nobody playing it down? Something's happened behind the scenes. Is there something going on that we don't know about? I'm intrigued, and I want to know exactly what that is. And we'll have to wait a little bit longer probably for that. But, hey, look, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Let's get some comments on that and just see where we're at. Adam give Rasmus a chance if we got Cunha and Mbeumo in the front line to send balls into the box. I think he could score goals for us. You'd have thought that when he missed all of his chances last season as well, and the cities that he missed. That's the worry I've got with Rasmus. Is he going to be that new? Is he going to be a new player next year? I've seen enough. I'm all too willing to be proved wrong, mate, is what I'll say on that. And if Rasmus shocks me and turns into a 15 to 20 goal a season striker again next season, like he did in his first season, then all right, well done, Rasmus. You've done well to turn it around. Maybe after the second season, he actually does turn into a better player. And maybe the pressure's off. He's had the bad season. He's had the all right start. He's had the bad season. He's gone through everything. Gone through the turmoil. He gets a fresh pre-season under Amorim. Look, I'm clutching at straws big time with it there. But obviously just to balance it out, give the kid a chance. I know what you're saying there, mate. But, yeah. Again, it's a difficult one. It is. Let's see what else we've got here in the chat. I'm just picking out a couple. Join the stream late. I got all 3 United shirts for this season through OK Jerseys. Nice. So happy with how they turned out. Thank you for that, Joe. Some of the mods will drop the link to the kits. I wear them all the time. The retro ones are my favourite ones. So the mods will drop that into the live chats for you. It's in the description as well tonight on the show. So go check out all of their some of the made up kits are great. Everyone loves the purple one that I wear. It's not a genuine Man United shirt, by the way. It's a made-up one, but it looks miles better than the real thing. Trust me on that. And everyone said the same thing. Loads of people have actually bought that one now. Adam, although player price could increase if we send players on loan, but the risk is that once the World Cup passes, these players may just want to sit out and stay for the rest of their contract. Can you really see a player not wanting to play football? See, this is this thing. It's like they always say that these players will just sit out the contract, sit on a wage. Garnacho's on 50 grand a week. And I know it sounds a lot of money to us, but in football terms, Garnacho is not going to sit it out. He's 21, his whole career ahead of him, and he's only on 50 grand now. So you can't even put him into that bracket, mate, as a player sitting it out on his big contract, because he is one of the lowest paid players in Manchester United's current squad. So he doesn't fall into that category of player, I'm afraid. And actually, why am I saying afraid? That's where we should be at. I think he's on fair value right now for where he's at in his career. Thank you, everybody, for the likes already. We're about to hit 600 likes, and we're only half an hour in. Absolutely brilliant. Again, everyone, please keep liking the video if you haven't already and you're loving the content. Really appreciate it. It's free. Hit the subscribe button as well. We're on the march, everyone. So thank you again for all of your efforts. And all of your input into the shows as always. Let's get a couple more comments in before we move on to our next story. 4 goals in the Prem. He doesn't deserve another chance. 14 Prem goals in 2 seasons for United is garbage. Whoever is playing behind him. Vardy scored 9 for Leicester last season. Puts it into context. Yeah, you can't really argue what Cal said there. That is Rasmus Højlund. And again, like, does he deserve the chance 2 years in? He's a lucky boy. That's all I'll say. He is a very, very lucky boy, this kid. Just for getting the opportunity again, I think, on this. Yes. Yeah, Mike, screw you as well, mate. Go and do one, mate. Thank you, mods, for dealing with that there. Graham, you get a big up for that one. I'm only repeating what people are actually talking about in the media, and we're having a good old fan chat about it. Thanks for making the time and effort to put a comment in. It all adds to the interactions, mate. You absolute clown. Anyway, moving on. I'm only saying that because he's insulting me, everyone. I would never insult anybody back or delete them for having an opinion. Heaven forbid. You can't do that on YouTube, can you? Anyway, moving on swiftly. Let's get. I had another story up here which absolutely it made me laugh. Right, listen to this for a headline. Are you ready for this one? Okay. Marcus Rashford's camp considering legal action against Manchester United after Ruben Amorim's banishment. Now, I'm just going to click into this report here. I'm just going to read through a little bit of it. Marcus Rashford's camp are reportedly mulling over the possibility of seeking legal action against Manchester United after his banishment from Ruben Amorim's squad. Marcus Rashford, get off my screen. Marcus Rashford is one of the 5 Manchester United players expected to leave the club this summer after new manager Ruben Amorim deemed him surplus to requirements. Second week of pre-season training is underway with the new signing Matheus Cunha and Diego Leon continuing to settle in. However, Rashford, Sancho, Anthony and Garnacho have been told to train apart. Rashford on this, the decision to axe the above 5 players from training has been a controversial one, as while Amorim wants no distractions to his squad during pre-season training, many have pointed out that United needing funds for the summer, this devalues the players who are set to be sold. Although Manchester United have offered the players the use of the facilities in the evenings, a new report from the Spanish outlet Sports has revealed suggestions that the situation between Rashford camp and United is becoming increasingly tense. Sport insists that those within Rashford's camp have considered whether Amorim's decision to banish him from the first team squad violates his rights as a footballer. which could lead them to sue United to have his contract terminated and the rest of his wages paid in full. Okay. Let's break that one down. In a player's contract, he is under contract in being paid a fortune to not talk about anything football related that the club don't give them permission to do so. Marcus Rashford has to be very careful here. Look, this story is one I'm just bringing up as to why and where we're at with Marcus Rashford's situation. I think somebody has seen his ass a little bit, maybe. Or some of the people around Rashford have seen their ass, because maybe that gravy train is about to come to a grinding halt and they're not going to be able to feed off Marcus Rashford anymore because his value is decreasing with every day that passes this summer. They haven't found the club. Nobody's willing to buy him because they don't want to take a risk on him. When will it sink into your heads? Again, as soon as they're put in their place, these players, they go on the defensive. Look at me. I'm the victim. This is why I am not playing well, because of this club and the way that they've treated me. Let's not forget, you paid an absolute fortune and you are in breach of contract yourself, my friend. So let's not forget that. And that would always come back and bite him on the arse. I honestly can't believe that story even came up. But I just wanted to keep you up to date with Rashford. And that's the most significant news on him. Yeah, you're right. Nobody still wants him. Still nobody wants him, I think that's the way of saying it. But yeah, that, I think, is exactly where most people would expect Marcus Rashford to be at this point in the window. Nobody wants to risk an absolute car crash of a player who is all too willing to jump to the media to defend himself when things don't go right at his football club. And let's not forget, this is Marcus Rashford who told Henry Winter in that interview, that infamous interview, remember it, after giving out presents to kids. Marcus Rashford told Henry Winter he doesn't want to cause a scene at Manchester United. He's got no ill feelings towards Manchester United. He just wants to make that fresh change and start somewhere else again. Remember it. Remember it. TK, welcome to the Members Club, my man. Absolutely love that. Thank you, buddy. We have a couple of super chats just in as well. Get your thoughts in on that one as well, everyone, please. Let's see what we've got here. Brits Abroad, thank you again, mate. As for Jadon Sancho, is a bell... well, we can say the words. We'll just separate them, and then you can sort of put them together and understand where Brits Abroad is saying here. He's a bell sniff. Message to Dwayne Maynard. Find your brother a new job. Do your job, says Graham. Shut it down, Graham. Shut it down. Yeah, Graham is absolutely bang on the money. You are paid a fortune, mate, to represent your client. And you're doing a shit job. Honestly, that story, that makes me laugh more than anything. You know what? It could have been built up into something that it's really not. And again, the main point in bringing that up there wasn't so much that he's actually doing that, because I don't think he will, to be honest. Anyone with any brain cells, it's a question, isn't it? No, I'm joking. Wouldn't do that, would they? Let's be honest. No one's stupid enough to go after Manchester United after how they have treated the club. Like, you can't turn up to training because you wanted to go on a bender in Belfast while you had a private jet waiting for you to take you home. Yeah, okay. Right. Anyway, on that one, the reason I'm bringing it up for Marcus Rashford is simply because that's the only news. Again, you're looking for news in the middle of a transfer window with a player there that wants to play in the World Cup, that used to be the pin-up boy for Manchester United. You're over halfway through a transfer window right now when he is not wanted by the football club. And you're looking for news. You'd expect there to be news there. You'd expect updates. You'd expect something to be there. But all you've got on Marcus Rashford right now is this story that he may even be thinking about suing United for how he was treated at the club under Ruben Amorim. It's embarrassing, isn't it? Even if that story's not true, that's the only one around for him right now. Where are you playing, mate? You're playing, well, the under-10s are training at Carrington, Marcus. And then he rolls into Carrington. Honestly, there are moments in a player's football career where they make stupid decisions. Marcus Rashford, honestly, again, this is where I think the people working with him or behind him are no use to him. Don't pull up into Carrington in a brand new, absolute sparkling brand new Rolls Royce that's probably worth more than everybody's houses waiting there to take your signature put together. Honestly, just like, read the room, mate. Like, he's not got a football club at the moment, and he's rolling into Carrington. It's like he's rubbing it in their faces. You're still paying me this money. And he can go and do whatever he wants with the money. He's contracted and he's been paid by the club. So he can go and spend it how he wants. But is there anything inside him that makes him think, do you know what? Maybe I shouldn't just do this today. Like, roll up in a brand new Rolls Royce. And maybe I shouldn't be flaunting it. Maybe I shouldn't be actually splashing the cash and showing everyone what I'm all about. Like, it makes you wonder what actually goes through a footballer's brain sometimes, doesn't it? Like, you know everything that's going on right now. There's players out there that are actually looking for clubs. Players that are out there willing to drop wages and willing to go the extra yard to make a move, to make something happen so they can continue playing football. But all you want to do is turn up in your brand new Rolls Royce, spend your money that the club's paying you, the club that will not play you anymore. It's, you know what I mean? Like each to their own and everything like that. But honestly, it doesn't sit well with me, and nothing that the man does ever sits well with me. Since he did what he did in Belfast, you know my point on Marcus Rashford. I have never been comfortable with him. I just don't believe that this man has got his... I don't think he's got his priorities right at all anymore, and I think he's lost. And I think the people around him have lost it for him. That's always going to be my opinion on him. Anyway, moving on to the man that I alluded to in that comment there, players who are willing to go the extra yard, make something happen. Antony. Now, finally, I said this at the start of the show. I've been dying to get to this bit, but it actually feels really good to me that this is actually happening right now. And what is happening is, all of a sudden, Manchester United have decided, you know what, Betis, F you. We've given you long enough, and we've now put a price on Antony's head. So, over the last few days, the report has come out here from UOL, which is a massive Brazilian publication. Antony, for the first time, has come back to pre-season training on his own, obviously, as we've just been talking about, and has had conversations with Manchester United, as reported by several sources over this week, to discuss the future of his, to discuss his future, basically. And all of a sudden, we're getting reports from Brazil about Antony's valuation. Now, it's gone from someone dropping it to 30 million, to a potential loan, to trying to make a shared ownership deal with Betis, to Manchester United wanting 50 million for Antony. Thank you. Start high, let them bring you down to a realistic price. Antony's worth 40 million all day long right now to a team like Real Betis, to a team in La Liga, Italy, Germany, wherever it may be. And on them clubs, here, the clubs that have been interested in the last week, in fact, for Antony have been, get this, Newcastle, Brighton, Bayer Leverkusen, RB Leipzig, Real Betis. Now, we know Como FC are also interested from what Romano has said. So, again, it does look to me like Antony's come in. All the talk while he's been away has been about Betis doing this, contacting Betis, talking through his agent. It looks like Antony's coming to Carrington, and all of a sudden, things have changed. He's been told what's going to happen now. And what's going to happen is they're not going to make any cheapskates make-weight deal for him to go back to Betis. United have to think of themselves in this. Well done, Antony, for going away and getting the accolades that you did, and you well deserved them. And you played well for Betis at that level. But they're going to have to come up with some money if they want to take him. They've already spent money this summer. They're taking the piss out of Manchester United in trying to offer another loan deal. I'm sorry, not happening. And now United have got other options. Bayer Leverkusen, interesting because it's Ten Hag. What will United sell him for? I think they can afford, from last thought, 35 million, but there's a problem with his wages. What's he willing to do? Play in the Champions League for less money? Maybe get bonuses from it? We'll see. Real Betis, we know already. I can't see him going to Brighton or Newcastle. I don't understand how any English club would want to take Antony, and I don't think them reports are real. They may have asked, but I just don't see it. Not Premier League, anyway. Bayer Leverkusen, Leipzig, interesting. RB Leipzig, that's an interesting one. I know I'm not going to get carried away with my FIFA talk again and Championship Manager. Let's go and ask Leipzig, can we have Sesko and you can have Antony and make a deal? I said it. There you go. Look, you're all thinking it, and you've got to think outside the box when it comes to getting rid of Antony, Garnacho, Rashford, and making deals happen. Maybe United do go down that road. Leipzig would be an interesting one for Antony. No European football. I don't know. Vival could be in charge of some masterstroke here. We will see. I don't see that happening personally. I really don't. But never say never in this transfer window. Anything is doable right now for Manchester United. And I think we've learnt that from when this window opened on June 1st. And we got the Bryan Mbeumo bombshell. Crazy. Oh, by the way, over 800 likes. That is epic. We're definitely on for a record show here tonight, everybody. Thank you. If you haven't liked the video already, please do put a like on it. Let's see if we can get up there as close to the 1,000 like marks as we possibly can. Absolutely buzzing with that. Cheers, everybody. Antony, talk to me, everybody. Get into the chat. I'm going to open it up in the chat now for everyone. So, real recognise real. Let's face it, Rasmus isn't going to do that. We'd all love to be wrong, but I don't think we are. Yeah, I'm talking about that from what we said earlier on. Ten Hag wants Antony reunion. He misses him. He was unstoppable, wasn't he, at Manchester United, according to Ten Hag. Silverback says Antony is the only one that's remained professional and looked positive after going out on loan. Could say Malacia in a way. He won Eredivisie with PSV. Interesting how they didn't want to keep him, though, isn't it? Raj says Antony 50 million ? They won't even get more than 15 million for him. Clubs know we are desperate to sell. No, but they also know that Antony pretty much propelled Betis up that La Liga title and was within 2 games of getting Champions League football from nowhere and into a final as well. That's what people will look at. And that is worth investment into, especially with Antony still being mid-20s as well. There's a lot of play in them legs still. There's a lot there for Antony. I think he does offer teams a lot more than what he would United. Clearly one of them scenarios, again, where the level's just too big for him at United. He needs a smaller club, like Betis. Problem for them is they haven't got the money. Anyway, hats off to Antony. Honestly, you can't knock him. Go out on loan and own it. And he did. I think he has shown how to face adversity when you're not wanted. Take note, Marcus and his mates. Well said, Mr. Dacia Sandero. Well said indeed, my friends. Antony is worth 40 million at least. He's a professional that's willing to drop wages and not slate us or hold us to ransom like the other scumbags. Everybody's quite clear with where they're at and their opinions right now. 900 likes. Absolutely smashing it. Thank you, everyone. A few more minutes to run. Let's see how high we can get. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button as well if you haven't already. Get your comments in, everyone. This is your time now. I would keep Antony. He is a top man. No saga with him, but if I'd sell it, it would be for £40 million. United going in with 50 million now. I think that's a play from United to say 50 million for Antony. Who's going to come in? Who is going to bid Manchester United for him? Who is going to actually try and bid us down? I think someone will come in and we'll meet in the middle. Even if United get like 35 to 38 for him, I think that's enough for United to sell him. But 50 million starting off, I think that's interesting because I think United are giving themselves bidding room there in that scenario. So, yeah, I think there is a plan behind that. If Ineos so good, why Nice not top of French league? That's from DV. Well, it takes time, doesn't it, when you buy a football club for the first time? By the way, they are in the Champions League. Just saying, best season that they've had so far. It's probably not a good time to actually look at the situation in France with the state-owned football club in one of the most one-sided leagues ever with PSG. So I would go easy on that one, DV, to be honest, mate, because nobody's going to topple PSG, I'm afraid. The finances that they've got. When you look at Lyon, who are almost relegated in financial ruin right now, and that's a good club in France, and you've got state-owned PSG, who have done transfers that nobody's ever imagined before. That's why nobody in France, in fact, has managed to win the league there. It got nothing to do with the United situation right now either. And just to go back to the top story again, everybody, when it comes to the Bryan Mbeumo situation, I cannot wait till we find out exactly what has happened with this deal, because the reports today are that Brentford completely changed their minds on the pricing and wanted more when the deal was almost over the line. That, I think, and when you look back at it, don't forget, when United's first bid went in, they took about 2 weeks to negotiate the second bid. To in and fro in, putting it together, communicating with Brentford to make sure when that bid went in, that it was accepted. So they did everything that they could. They did everything that they knew was going to work. And like Jamie Jackson from The Guardian said, when that second bid went in, around 65 million, back in June, everybody expected it to be accepted, and then bang, it wasn't. They changed their minds, and something has definitely triggered Ineos into defence mode here, and they're not buckling on it. Yeah, Lille won the league while Tuchel was at PSG. Yeah, I think, was that Jose Font? Did he have something to do with that one? On that one, I'm not talking about Lille, mate. I'm talking about Nice. It doesn't really matter who has won the league, but you're never going to be able to compete against PSG consistently. But yeah, that again, I think is one of them, isn't it? You cannot compare Ligue 1 to the Premier League. And I just don't think... I think Ineos made a lot of mistakes at Nice, by the way. I do. I'm not saying that they've run that club well at all. I'm not using it as an excuse either. But all I'm saying is, look, there is Ligue 1 and then there's the Premier League. We're not comparing the two. I'm sorry. The most competitive league in the world is the Premier League. And I've said this before. When it comes to Ineos, let's see where we're at in 3 years' time. Let's see where we're at the end of this window when everything's done, and then judge it properly. Just to run over... just to actually run over everything again, story-wise. Sancho has an option to go to Turkey, but he wants the Turkish clubs to pay him 13 million quid a year if you're going to go and play in Turkey. That's an insult, an absolute insult. What an absolute scumbag for saying that. If that is true, that is. I don't know if it is true. That's just a report. Rashford thinking about taking legal action against United because of the treatment he's had. I know, still can't stop laughing at that one, but that's just another story as well. Might not actually be true, but that's the only story we've got on Marcus Rashford at the moment. I explained the Bryan Mbeumo situation and where we're at with that. I expect that to move on, and things are moving very, very fast regarding Emi Martinez to Manchester United. Could Garnacho be a play in this to Villa on loan the opposite way? More on that to come, no doubt, and I will be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock again to bring you all of the updates. Please be there also, everybody. Super chat in just before we finish. Corrupt recordings, unpopular opinion, Adam, but I think Rasmus will do well in front of Cunha and Mbeumo. Not my first choice, but with creativity behind him, 15 goals. Well, he got 16 goals without them the previous season, his first one. We'll see. We will see what happens. Anyway, thank you everyone. Absolute legend show. We get 20 more likes. We have hit the live like mark record of 1,000 likes in a single show, which is a massive. Thank you everyone again. Get them likes in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button also, everybody. I also want to say a big thank you to the mods again. Absolutely smashed it in there, helping everybody out today. A link in the live chat and in the description for the shirts on the retro Manchester United stuff. Dead cheap, great quality. Just ask anyone who has actually bought one already in there. There are plenty of people that have, so go check them out. And yeah, let's see what tonight brings, and let's see if we have got any big updates in the morning. It feels like it's hotting up again. It's had a really, really cold July, this transfer window, particularly for Manchester United. Could we be about to see, or could we be about to see, that doesn't sound, am I saying that wrong there? Like, are we about to see a change? Sorry, I got that completely messed up in my own head there. Over 1,000 likes. I'll end it on that before I end up screwing myself up again in what I'm saying. But thank you, everybody. Absolute legends. The lot of you. Get your comments in below. Hit that subscribe button. And also give the video a like. 1,000 likes in the bag on a live show is epic. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you all in the morning. Have a great evening.